So this last piece that we're going to talk about is age. So we've covered the 4Ds of distressed sellers, and so now we're going to go into a fifth one that's not commonly lumped in with the first ones, but it is a very important one because there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to be had in this area. We're talking about age. And so the criteria for this one, it really is simple. The way that we here at the Savvy Real Estate Investors identify an aged property is generally one that has been lived in, but the same owner for 20 plus years.
Correct.
And so, walk us through why that is.
So the typical mortgage on a property is held for about 7 years. The typical homeowner lives in the house for about 14 years. One of the things that happens is that when you live in a property, you don't actually update it. You live in it, and there's a big difference. And so, when you buy a property and you've lived in it for 20 plus years, what that typically means is that there's a new style when it comes to, the type of flooring. One of the reasons you walk into some of these homes and they have the popcorn on the ceiling is because that used to be the style. And so now it is not, and now it's something that everybody walks through and they want to get rid of it. Same thing with different types of flooring or paneling. It used to be a thing where the houses had all this wood paneling on there, and now you go into it and people look at it and
so generally it's just
hate it.
It's several generations old, and it needs to be brought up to the times.
It needs to be modernized.
So and what that does, with that in mind, it opens itself up to a couple different ways. One, finding homes that are aged is public record.
Right.
So you can just go to the county and find out which homes have been occupied by the same owner for more than 20 years. But the two areas that we as real estate investors are looking at, whether you're a wholesaler or whether you're a rehabber, you're looking at one, there's a quick flip opportunity. So we always talk about it, but a home that has been lived in for this long is generally well kept. You're not going to live in a dump for that long. So the updates and things that you need to make are generally more cosmetic.
Just cosmetic.
Because any type of major upgrade would be, a HVAC or a roof. That's going to be something that affects a person's living conditions,
right.
And so it's generally taken care of.
Fix those right away.
Absolutely. And so we're talking high upside. And so the reason with that is because the amount of repairs that need to be made are minimal. And the offer that you're able to make is that, like what Rob touched on, is the average mortgage lasts for about 7 years. Average person will live in a home for 14. And so generally these homes are paid off.
Yeah, if they're not paid off, they're really close to being paid off.
So you're making an all cash offer to someone who's going to be receiving all cash.
They're going to get almost all of your offer, and so that becomes very attractive because one of the things that this is usually a sign of is somebody that's ready to downsize.
Bingo.
Because when you're living in a house, the reason people live into a house is to go ahead and accommodate their family. Well, one of the things that happens is that you may be living in a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, or 3-bath house. Well, it's great when you have 3 or 4 kids running around. Well, when they go away to college, hopefully, or get their own lives or jobs or whatever, and they're not
just
living
leave
with you.
Yeah,
they just get out.
Hopefully.
Just get out. Then you don't need 5 bedrooms. And as you get older, one of the things that you understand is it's like, hey, I only need the amount of space that I really need. I don't need 3, 4, 5,000 square feet. I need like 1,000 or less.
Because you don't have extra hands to clean, maintain.
Right.
Generally, especially when it comes to houses, if you're not able to keep eyes on everything, something bad can happen. That's when leaks, can fester. So, downsizing, moving on, change of scenery. I am from the great north in Wisconsin, and so what happens to people who have generally, as soon as the nest is empty, they move to a place like Florida.
Yeah.
Dallas, Phoenix, they start to snowbird and they want to leave, get to an area where the climate is less intensive. So, that's where you're going to, and especially that's where the motivation with these comes in.
And I mean, just to touch on high upside, these are generally homes that just need cosmetic repair. The maintenance is really the issue for the homeowner. It's not a situation where they're in necessarily financial distress. In fact, they may actually be in a position where they can obtain some financial security. But what it is like maintaining the house, again, like if you have no kids. Why do you want to go upstairs? So why do you need 2 stories? You know, unless you really just want it. A lot of times this becomes a lifestyle choice for them to find something that's a little easier to maintain as they get older, and be able to cash out of a property that did them good and now can do somebody else good.
Absolutely. So there you have it. So that is the 5 criteria of being, of a distressed seller and how to identify them. So we've talked about the 4 Ds, and then we've touched on age. So now we're going to talk about deploying those types of sellers and actually, putting that information to good use and going out and finding the properties. Next up, we talk lead generation.